I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could stand for our opening prayer. I'm going to recite a prayer that was from the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast held on Halloween morning, prayer for elected officials. So if we'll bow our heads and remember we're in the presence of the Lord. O God, from whom all power comes, by whose divine will all must abide, we thank you for our civil liberties and freedom, for our opportunities and our privileges. We beg of you to bless, assist, and enlighten all elected officials. May they prove worthy of the confidence placed in them by their fellow citizens. May they be just and upright in their thinking, honest in all their actions, and ever be guided by a true conscience in the legislation they propose or vote upon. Forgive us all our mistakes and selfish tendencies, and help prepare us by our good deeds for an eternal union with you. We also want to pray in a special way for all of our veterans who have served this country and given the greatest sacrifice. Some of them have given their lives for our freedom, and we want to pray for the protection of those who continue to serve us at home and abroad. For these and all things through Christ our Lord. Amen. Councilmember Carroll, could you lead us in the pledge?
Madam Chairman, you have a quorum this evening. Councilmember Denopolis is absent. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. The consent agenda this evening consists of Item 1, approval of minutes of the regular council meeting of October 17, 2013. Item 2, approval of the alcoholic beverage permit applications. Item 2A is a resolution granting an alcoholic beverage permit to St. Cecilia Project on Saturday, November 23, 2013 at Lake Town, being property owned by the City of Kenner in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 1765/13, the Big Easy Mopar Association to hold a public gathering for the purpose of a car show for Children's Hospital on March 15, 2014 from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Lake Town Park. Item 3B is application number 1773/13, the American Legion Kenner Post 377 to hold a public gathering for the purpose of a flag disposal on November 22, 2013 from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 3740 Florida Avenue, the American Legion Ladies Auxiliary in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 4 is correspondence reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. We have none. Item 5 is acceptance and rejection of bids requiring an expenditure of less than $5,000. Item 5A is a resolution approving repairs to Skag lawn equipment in the amount of $3,083.50 by Vaughn's Power Equipment Incorporated, an authorized dealer of Skag equipment for Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 5B is a resolution authorizing the repairs to the 2013 Dodge Charger Unit 408 in the amount of $4,450.70 by Don's Unique Auto Incorporated for the Kenner Police Department. Item 5C is a resolution approving repairs to the 2008 Ford Crown Victoria Unit 117 in the amount of $4,606.64 by Mako Collision Repair and Auto Painting for the Kenner Police Department. Item 6 is change orders requiring an expenditure of less than $5,000. We have none. Item 7 is acceptance of committee findings for final passage. We have none. Item 8 is re-subdivision ordinances for final passage. Item 8A is summary ordinance number 11,624, an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots 1, 2, 38, 39, and 40, square 26, lot 12A2, plot 12, Crestview Office and Industrial Park Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, into lot 12A3, plot 12, Crestview Office and Industrial Park Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana.
Council Clerk, do you have it recorded already as a certain order?
No, ma'am.
Motion by Councilmember Black, second by Councilmember Brannigan on consent. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have Item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding Resolution Number B 16406, a resolution authorizing the City Council for the City of Kenner to hold a public hearing to determine whether or not the building located at 2724-20-26 Richland Street, Kenner, Louisiana, should not be repaired or demolished. Madam Chairman, we've received a request from the Code Enforcement Department for a one-meeting deferral.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Black on a one-meeting deferral. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0 for a one-meeting deferral. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding Resolution Number B 16407, a resolution authorizing the City Council for the City of Kenner to hold a public hearing to determine whether or not the building located at 1525 31st Street in Kenner, Louisiana should not be repaired or demolished. Madam Chairman, we've also received a request from the Code Enforcement Department to defer this item for one meeting, please.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by, no. Yes? All right, I get confused in that little gray area. Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Black for a one-meeting deferral. You realize that the next meeting is the Saints-Atlanta game. For this meeting, all these deferrals. Council members, please vote. I'm still going to vote for the deferral.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 9C is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,614, an ordinance revoking the dedication of the 15-foot wide alley located in Square 459, Highway Park Subdivision, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, bisecting said square in a north-south direction bounded by 23rd Street to the north, 22nd Street to the south, Florida Avenue to the east, and Delaware Avenue to the west.
We have a motion by Councilmember Stagney, second by Councilmember, for indefinite deferral.
Yes, ma'am. We've
Second.
received a request this evening to indefinitely defer this item.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Stagney for an indefinite deferral, second by Councilmember Black. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0 to indefinitely defer. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 11,625, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Article 2, Section 15-23 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances by the addition thereto and the establishment of do not enter signs, one-way signs, no right turn, and no left turn signs on Main Avenue and Roosevelt Boulevard at intersections with 25th and 26th Street during school hours for the Kenner Discovery Elementary School. Madam Chairman, we've received a request for a one-meeting deferral.
Motion by Councilmember Stagney, second by Councilmember Black on a one-meeting deferral. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 12B is summary ordinance number 11,626, an ordinance declaring certain fire department equipment as surplus and authorizing the donation of said fire equipment for the sum of $7,900 in an as-is condition to the Tangipahoa Parish Rural Fire Protection District Number 2.
Motion by Councilmember Black, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Black.
I think we have the fire chief with us today and a representative from Tangipahoa Parish, if you'd both like to come up. Tell us how great we are.
Hi, I have Dennis Crocker here from Tangipahoa.
Who?
Dennis Crocker, he's a retired Kenner firefighter.
I just want to say, if on behalf of Tangipahoa Parish, Fire District 2, this equipment will come in dearly needed. We have departments that have still using steel air bottles. So bringing this equipment to those departments, it's a miracle for those guys. It really is.
Well, I can tell you, we have been in your position before, but before we had a capital budget. So we've been putting some of that money to good use, and certainly the fire department, we feel is pretty much funded. But I'm sure if you ask the fire chief, he'll say no. But we're happy to be able to do that for the parish of Tangipahoa, and Gordon Burgess will be very appreciative.
I'm sure he would be.
Thank
He will be.
And for the sake of the audience, in the body, it explains what the actual apparatus is. It doesn't in the summary, so it's some sort of breathing apparatus that's used.
Yeah, these are fiberglass wrapped air cylinders that we use for breathing in a fire or in a hazmat situation. The ones that Tangipahoa is using now are steel tanks that have been out of use in most municipalities for decades. So we're bringing them closer to what the current standard is. And actually, they'll meet a standard that is still in place.
Was this the compromise when he asked for a truck? We said, no, but we'll give you some breathing apparatuses.
He'd like the truck, but
I know.
that's coming up on a future agenda for sale.
Okay, Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for coming in today. And Chief, from speaking with me earlier about this, and we had a couple of conversations as it relates to liabilities, and I would like for you to go into details as it relates to, the city of Kenner donating this property as opposed to trying to sell it, and why we're doing it this particular way.
I'll defer to the city attorney on that, but basically, if we were selling it, we would incur some liability in selling a property, if the city attorney wants to answer that further.
Well, it's basically, we can't guarantee that stuff. It's stuff that we were gonna let go in a surplus auction that we wouldn't guarantee either. So if we could donate it as a statute allows to another fire department that could find some use, and they understand that it's as is and there's no, guarantees, certainly we're gonna help out another fire district or fire department.
Right, and that's what I wanted to for everyone to understand that. Plus, we're a part of a mutual aid, as most firemen and policemen are a part for the entire state. At some point in time, we're going to need support from other fire departments, the police department, when we have an emergency in the city of Kenner. So it's always good to be a good neighbor and to be able to support other firemen and emergency response personnel, because the day will come when we will need their support. So it's a good thing that we're doing, and we look forward to supporting in the future.
That's a good point to make. It's not unusual for the Kenner Fire Department to have 3 fire departments, counting Kenner, assisting us out of fire. And since I've been here, we've had 4 other departments assisting us at a fire at one particular fire. So, yeah, we rely on each other for the large fires.
Right, so even though we're donating it, play it forward, it should possibly come back to be able to support the citizens and the businesses within the city of Kenner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Carroll. Councilmember Stagney.
Thank you, Madam President. I was going to reiterate something that Councilwoman Brannigan had stated, is that this is for 23 pieces of equipment for $7,900. And as I recall, was it last year or the previous year, Chief, that we bought all new breathing apparatus for our firefighters?
Correct. We have all new, the latest model that's out there. When we purchased them, it provides us more of a quantity of air for a longer duration, and the tanks are actually lighter because of the new technology. They're making the tanks lighter every time they come out with a new model.
And was that 2 years ago?
I believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah, and
It's been at least 2 years.
we were happy to do that. The police department also, we got some equipment, so we've been doing everything we can to try to fund those primary responders. And anytime we can help out someone else whose equipment is outdated and ours is a little better off, even though we've upgraded, I think everybody's glad that we're helping. So congratulations, Mr. Crocker, as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Stagney. Councilmember DeFrancis.
Thank you, Council President. Again, it's always been a cooperative effort between all the fire departments in the area. And this is a major safety issue, and if we can give you equipment that will help ensure the safety of the firemen in Tangipahoa Parish, and it's surplus equipment to boot, I'm all for it. And again, I'm so proud of the cooperation that we exhibit here in the city of Kenner with our neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution appointing the members of the Alcoholic Beverage Permit Review Committee.
Motion by Councilmember Black, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Yeah, Okay, let's, Councilmember Black, did you want to open, or is it okay to? Councilmember Black.
As Councilman Stagney just said, I'd appreciate if you'd let the people in the listening audience and in the audience know who these individuals are and how much we appreciate their serving on this board.
You want me to recognize the members? I'm sorry.
If you would read all of the members of the board and which which area they're representing?
Yes, ma'am, I'll be glad to. Miss Ashley B. Jacobson, she represents at-large Division A. Mr. Scott Whitaker, he represents at-large Division B. Mr. Charles Tony Jr., he represents District 1. Juan Suarez, District 2. Christy McKinney, District 3. Frank Compagno, District 4. And Ed Lancaster, District 5.
Okay.
Are any of these individuals in our audience today? Okay. Well, we certainly, again, we appreciate your volunteer to serve on this very important board.
Are there any new faces to this board, or are these the same?
Yes, there is one new representative. That would be the District 1 representative.
And Scott Whitaker and Charles Tony are both?
Scott Whitaker was last time, huh? He's new? And Mr. Whitaker then?
All right, well, we want to thank those who have served and those who have agreed to serve. I think I had mentioned before, the girl who I had appointed had actually moved back to Kenner after living uptown and following the trend to move uptown, and she grew up in Kenner and moved back with her family. And she was a stay-at-home mom who was also an attorney, so she was grateful for the opportunity to have some adult talk and exercise her brain, and she's excited about continuing to serve, and we're just so lucky to have a resource like her, and I'm sure others on the board have, their own reasons for serving, but Ms. Jacobson is certainly an asset. Councilmember, oh, pardon me. Councilmember DeFrancis is next. Is that okay? Okay, Councilmember DeFrancis.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to mention to people that we were having some problems in Kenner with a lot of the, especially some of the bars in this area and or in areas where they served alcoholic beverages. This committee made a tremendous difference in addressing those problems. And I can tell you, I'm very proud, I know as everyone else is on this panel, on this council, of our representatives, because they did make a difference. They addressed those problems, and those problems have to a great extent disappeared because of their hard work. So they really do need to be recognized for all their effort. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm glad that you brought that up. Were there any changes? One of the changes for District 1 was Ms. Simons, a young attorney. She's a young lady that has accepted another job, which will be taking a lot more of her time. So as opposed to trying to do a half job, we understood that she would not be able to have the time to put into it. So I'd like to personally thank her and everyone within the city of Kenner for her services that she provided the city of Kenner, especially District 1. But I am also glad to let you know that another attorney from the city of Kenner, Mr. Tony, will also be taking her place, and we expect the same type of support and engagement that she had given. So thanks, Ms. Simon. We look forward to Mr. Tony. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Carroll. Okay, seeing no further discussion. Oh, you will put your light on. Can you press your button? And I can't give you the floor unless. Okay, take the vote off, please. Councilmember Black.
Her button's on.
Thank you. I apologize for that. I just want to correct something. The council clerk was absolutely right. My appointee, Mr. Scott Whitaker, came in midway of the last term, so he was a previous board member, and he's been reassigned, and very willingly, I might add, and he is also an attorney, so we'll have a lot of experience in the law and what can be done and what can't be done on this board, so I think we're going to have a lot of progress with this whole committee. Thank you.
Great. Okay, very good. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 13B, is a resolution temporarily suspending Council Rule Number 7 of the Rules of Organization, Business, Order, and Procedure of the Council of the City of Kenner and rescheduling the Kenner City Council meeting of January 2nd, 2014 to January 9, 2014, and rescheduling the Kenner City Council meeting of January 16, 2014 to January 23rd, 2014.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Black. This is just some conflicts in our scheduling with holidays and having the way we'd have to advertise. I think there were 5 weeks in the month, so it didn't cause any back-to-back meetings to happen as a result of it. So we will now be changing our meetings of the 2nd to the 9th in January and the 16th to the 23rd just to accommodate the holiday and the advertising periods. Okay, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 13C is a resolution appointing Tom Bloom to the City of Kenner Planning and Zoning Commission, filling the unexpired term of Rob Wooderson.
Motion by Councilmember Black, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Councilmember Black.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Our old appointee to this, Mr. Rob Wooderson, was a great representative on this board. He was a building contractor with Gibbs Construction, and he knew his stuff, and we really appreciated everything that he brought to the table in any meetings that we had concerning the Planning Commission. He was great. We're going to miss him. We've lost him to Lakeview, but his heart still lies in Kenner, and unfortunately, he felt like he wouldn't be able to serve since he no longer lived in Kenner. But we appreciated him very much, and he's still a very dear friend. Our new appointee, Mr. Tom Bloom, has been active in our community in every way that I know of. He's a lawyer that practices in New Orleans, and he's getting ready to retire from being an attorney, so he said that he would love to be able to give something back to the city in which he lives and raised his children. So we look forward to having Tom Bloom on the board, and I know that he will do an excellent job. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 13D is a resolution authorizing and ratifying an intergovernmental agreement by and between Jefferson Parish School Board, Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, Grand Isle Port Commission, Grand Isle Levy District, East Jefferson Levy District, West Jefferson Levy District, Jefferson Parish Law Enforcement District, the Jefferson Parish Special Districts that received millages from the ad valorem taxes, and the cities and towns of Kenner, John Lafitte, West Wego, Grand Isle, and Harahan for the sale of various tax-adjudicated properties located within the parish of Jefferson and to provide for related matters.
Motion by Councilmember Black, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Can I ask Mr. McConnell, are you abreast of what this is about?
Yes. This is sale of adjudicated property. You know, for the last 5 or 6 years, we've been participating in these adjudicated sales when the parish has them. And basically, it's properties that have gone, where the taxes are not paid, you know, grass liens are not paid. Properties have gone to a tax sale, and the 3 years are up. And basically, the properties are sold and put back into commerce, and whatever money the various entities can get from the sale, you know, we get paid, and the properties are put back into commerce. So we've been doing this about every 2 years now. You know, the first couple, we had a lot of properties. You know, we're getting to the point where we don't have as many properties. This one, we had 10 properties that were sold that owed us money. So, you know, we're doing this every couple of years to get these properties back into commerce so we can stop maintaining them and get some of our tax money.
Okay. And when will this take place?
Actually, it took place Saturday.
How'd we do?
Well, like I said, we had 10 properties that were sold that owed Kenner money. We don't know how much money we're going to get yet. The parish has to divvy it up because they get a portion to cover their cost, and the sheriff gets a portion to cover his cost. Then we in the parish get a pro rata share of what they collect, you know, based on what we have outstanding. So they haven't finished
We don't know.
calculating how much money everybody gets yet. They're still
Okay.
doing that.
All right, seeing no further discussion, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 13E is a resolution authorizing the City Council for the City of Kenner to hold a public hearing to determine whether or not the buildings located at 3715 East Louisiana State Drive, Kenner, Louisiana, should not be repaired or demolished.
Motion by Councilmember Black, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda.
We had none.
Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 11,627. An ordinance approving an agreement with Digital Engineering and Imaging Incorporated for professional services in connection with the installation of a new force main from Chateau Transfer Station to wastewater treatment plant number 3 and an amount not to exceed $385,000 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrancis, second by Councilmember Reyno. Council members, please vote. Oh, excuse me, Councilmember Stagney.
Thank you, Madam President. On these professional services that go beyond $100,000, does the mayor have a committee in place to evaluate, or are we putting out some sort of bid and having responses to that bid to see if we get competitive pricing on these types of contracts?
I think I can answer that, unless quickly wants to answer. As far as professional services, we do not bid professional services. But what we do is do SOQs, which are statements of qualifications, and we request firms that are interested in a particular project or any type of public works project to submit the statements of qualifications, and a committee is formed to grade all the statements of qualifications, okay? And based on the submittals and the gradings, some of these consultants are selected.
Okay, so you do it based on qualifications. Is there any consideration on price?
Not on professional services.
When do you know how much they would charge us? For a
When we
particular
negotiate with them based on our standard requirements for negotiations.
And you would negotiate based on past performance on these types of contracts?
That's one of the criteria on the SOQs. We got a series of criteria. Past performance is one of them.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 11,628, an ordinance approving an agreement with Hartman Engineering Incorporated for professional services in connection with the installation of a new force main from Chateau Transfer Station to wastewater treatment plant number 3, and an amount not to exceed $218,345 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrancis, second by Councilmember Reyno. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 5-0. Council members Black and Annapolis are absent. Item 15C, summary ordinance number 11,629, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of ballistic body armor and accessories to outfit newly hired officers and replace expired body armor from Baton Rouge Police Supplies and Barney's Incorporated, Barney's Firearms, utilizing state contract number 409564, and an amount not to exceed $63,750 annually for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrancis, second by Councilmember Reyno. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 5-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 11,630. An ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Johnston Supply for an annual contract to supply air conditioner filters to be used at various recreation facilities in accordance with seal bid number 13-1504 and an amount not to exceed $13,213.44 per year for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilmember Stagney, second by Councilmember Carroll. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 5-0. Item 15E is a resolution accepting as complete the contract with Tuna Construction LLC for the improvements to the Bertha Lee Jackson Park project, Kenner Project number 12-6106 for the Department of Community Development.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Black. Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Madam President. Third time the charm. Ms. Terrell, could you step up a minute, please, as it relates to the Bertha Lee? Just wanted to give, your department, everyone that was involved with the renovations at the Bertha Lee Park tot lot. It's not the playground, but it's a tot lot. Based on how it looked before the renovations to how it looks now, and I would like for you to go into more details as what were some of the changes to the park,
Okay,
if you would, please.
sure. It's, and I intended to bring some pictures because I know we talked about showing some
Right.
before and afters, but perhaps we'll get a chance to do that at another time, but, okay. But, no, But anyway, back to the park. We put a really nice piece of play equipment. It's a play-in-place piece of equipment where the kids can climb, and it's padded with safety surface, which meets the recreation and safety regulations so they won't get hurt. We replaced a lot of the seating. We added new seating with back support. At first, the benches were just the little flat benches without backs. And so now they're the vinyl-coated benches. We rebuilt a covered shelter, so I'm more than sure that the park will be used more for little kiddie parties and things of that nature. A new water fountain, new sidewalk, and landscaping. We also added some padding to improve the safety under the basketball court. So it's a very much more visible, a much more attractive play lot, and it really accents our area of Kenner right there off of Airline Drive. So.
One more thing.
Oh, the lighting. Yeah, that was the main thing about the, thank you. As the citizens in that area know, the main concern was the kids couldn't play after dark because there was no lighting at that play lot. So now, and that was a big ticket item too. Thank you. How could I forget that? But now we've installed a lot of lighting so that the park stays open until dark now. So.
So
Very
it looks
nice.
fantastic. Everyone within that
It does look real
Pollock,
good.
Hanson City area can appreciate it. There are a lot of younger children who physically can't make it to the bigger playground at Buddy Lawson, but who can go there and have a nice time, nice picnics and stuff like that. I'm not sure if we want to address any of the additional landscaping that's coming in the future. We're going to hold off on that. You think?
Well, I'll just say we're committed to improving that portion of Kenner. It's the entryway to our city. Of course, the highway is state-controlled, so we have some applications that's pending with the state, and hopefully they'll approve the aesthetics and the beautification, excuse me, enhancements that we have planned for the area.
Right.
But I will definitely keep everyone posted.
Yes, and this again, of all the things that we're trying to do to improve the aesthetics, the ambiance of the city, this is the entrance from the west.
Right.
And everything that we can do to make things pretty for people coming in, I think we should do. This is a start. The Airline Highway is a state highway, but this is into the entrance of the city of Kenner. And this is the first thing that you see, other than the airport coming in from that direction. Along with this illumination of the park, the additional landscaping that will be coming that has been done, I think this will be a good landmark for the city of Kenner coming in. And again, thanks for all your hard
Thank
work
you.
and everybody involved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 15F is a resolution approving change order number 1 to the contract with High Tech Electric Incorporated of Delaware in the additive amount of $7,444 for the Vintage and Medoc Generator Sewer Rehabilitation Project and accepting the project as complete for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrancis, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Council members, please vote.
Madam Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance declaring certain fire department equipment no longer needed for public purposes and authorizing the sale of said fire equipment in an as-is condition for the sum of $14,000 to the Hillsdale Fire Department. Item 16B is an ordinance amending the Kenner Code of Ordinances, Chapter 7, Section 7-171, entitled Littering Special Provisions for Vehicles on Abandoned Property, to include shopping carts or baskets and to provide for fees incurred for the enforcement of this ordinance. Item 16C is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots M and L, Plot 4, Oakland Plantation Subdivision, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, into Lot M1, Plot 4, Oakland Plantation Subdivision, Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. Item 16D is an ordinance authorizing the utilization of State of Louisiana Contract Number 408874 with Covington Sales and Service Incorporated to purchase one Leeboy asphalt tack tank in the amount of $8,892 for the City of Kenner Department of Public Works. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Han Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $16,334 to furnish and install tot lot equipment at Migas Park Playground in accordance with seal bid number 13-6176 for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Bliss Products and Services Incorporated in the amount of $10,505.28 to furnish and install new pour-in-place safety surfacing at Migas Park Playground in accordance with sealed bid number 13-6175 for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
I am not seeing anyone. Okay, nothing.
Nothing?
Whoop. Okay, Councilmember Reyno.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who called and for the prayers and everything for Donna for her surgery. And I just wanted to mention it. She's doing great. Back surgery was successful. So just wanted to mention it. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember DeFrancis.
And I just wanted to mention today we had our Veterans Day celebration here in the city of Kenner. And on behalf of myself and the entire council, I think I speak for the entire council, the administration of the city of Kenner, we want to thank all our veterans for their service. Too often we forget to say thank you, so I wanted to make sure we said that tonight.
Mr. Quigley?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce to the council our new project manager for Veolia, J.R. Parrish. He's in the audience tonight, sitting next to Joanne. Joanne's still with us, but J.R. is taking Peter's place. So J.R. is new and coming in and real enthusiastic, and he'll be our new project manager. So, J.R., why don't you come and introduce yourself to the council?
Somebody's clapping. Joanne.
My biggest fan.
Name, please, and address for the record.
Lewis G. Parrish Jr., but I go by JR.
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 And where are you from?
Originally Florida, born and raised. Come to you from Atlanta.
Okay. Oh.
Oh. I was only there for 2 years. No allegiance to any football or
Okay. Councilmember Black, did you wish to speak to JR?
Later, I should say.
Oh, later, okay.
But that's okay. I'll just welcome you also, JR, and hope that you enjoy your job in Kenner. And just make sure you know that you're going to get a lot of calls from Mr. Francis and Mr. Stagney. And
I've got really big shoulders.
Not as many with all the flip
yeah,
stations.
because of all of the improvements that you made. But we welcome you. We hope that you're a resident of Kenner.
That is the plan, yes.
That's great, great. And you have a family?
I do.
Good, good. Well, enjoy, and we expect to hear from all of us, because we will be calling, especially after heavy rains, when we start having things go wrong. So
No problem. I'm here 24/7 for all of you.
I'm going to hold you to that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Councilmember Carroll, did you wish to speak to Mr. JR, or, okay, good. Thank you, welcome. Okay, Councilmember Black, did you want to continue?
Yes.
Oh, well, let me now turn the mic on, because you, there you go. Go ahead.
I just would like to congratulate the mayor again. You know, I've been to all of the prayer breakfasts that he has had over the three that he's had. And of course, the other mayors have had wonderful prayer breakfasts too. And after last year, I didn't think that he could ever top what he had for 2012. But this year, he did top it. It was one of the best prayer breakfasts, most attendance on record, I think. And we had some great speakers, and General Honore was there. And Ronnie Lamarck put on a show that, if anybody didn't know what a talented guy he was, and a person with charisma, that has the most charisma, Shirley found out last Thursday. So I want to congratulate you, Mayor, congratulate your staff, because I know you didn't do it alone. And Chateau was wonderful. They had everything set up beautifully. It was one of the rare times I didn't mind getting up at 6 a.m. to go to a breakfast, but it was well worth it. And thank you so much.
Okay, Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Madam President. I also would like to first thank the Kenner Recreation Department and all of the support groups from Public Works and everyone else that came out this past Saturday to support the annual championship for the football program. I'd like to thank the mayor for coming out to support the program. Everyone was, it's good to see us when we go out there to be able to, talk to the parents, talk to the children, let them know that this is an important part to our city. Thank Councilwoman DeFranchis, Councilman Stagney for coming out, and all of the directors and everyone else that came out there. It was a good event, beautiful weather. And last but not least, I would like to, the 7 and 8 year-old division, the runner-up was Green Lawn. The champions were from Buddy Lawson. For the 9 and 10, the runner-up was Susan Park. The champion was from Buddy Lawson. And for the 11 and 12, the runner-up was Buddy Lawson, and the champions from Musburg-Leno. So it was represented the entire city, all of the young men, and even the young ladies that were out there. There probably were a few that were playing, but from the cheerleading standpoint, and there will be a competition for the cheerleaders. I'm not exactly sure of that date. If anybody has that date, please let us know so we can announce that. And it may happen before our next meeting. So if you want to find out, call the Recreation Department. I think that at the Pontchartrain Center to come out and see the young ladies perform the cheering events that they practice for throughout the whole season. So again, thanks everyone. Look forward to seeing you for that event. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. All right, Council Clerk.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and no motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
We have a few. Mr. Jules Corona. Did you wish?
You did hear that.
Oh, okay. Name and address for the record, please, and you have 3 minutes.
Mark Benora, and I'm stepping in for Jules Corona. Not that I'm any substitute for Jules, because I can't say that I am. But on the matter which was previously addressed, 9C, regarding the alleyway in Square 459 Highway Park subdivision, it's our understanding that this matter is being indefinitely deferred, but When we spoke earlier with some representatives, it was our understanding that it was being removed or withdrawn. And so I'm just trying to get clarification, because I'd hate to have a situation where it comes up before this council in the future and we have no notice of it and miss the opportunity to present our position.
But we voted to indefinitely defer it this evening.
Which,
Is that, which means what? Are you asking what that means?
yes, because I just don't want it, it was
Okay.
my understanding it was being withdrawn and not deferred.
Okay, we'll get Mr. Conley
thing?
to,
Okay. We can go with that then. Thank you.
you want to go on record as saying it's the same thing? Okay. Mr. Richard Brown, must be important, you signed in. Oh, I apologize, well, Mr. Carroll, okay, excuse me one moment, Mr. Brown, just hang tight, don't go anywhere. Mr. Carroll, I understand, but there was somebody before you. Now nobody's there, who wants to speak? Okay, who wants to speak? Nobody? Okay. Nobody? Okay, Mr. Brown. I told you not to go anywhere.
I didn't go far. Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to...
Richard Brown.
I'm sorry, Richard Brown, 824 Sessions Lane, Kenner, Louisiana.
Great.
I wanted to thank Councilman Stagney for his help with some issues that have been going on at Westminster Tower. For those who don't know, Westminster Tower is an independent living center in Kenner on Idaho Street, right behind the Williams Boulevard Post Office. And over the past few weeks and months, the management has imposed a lot of new rules, made a lot of changes, which have really upset the residents. These are almost all elderly people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. The management has done such things as actually removing the chairs from the lobbies of both buildings. They've put some of the furniture back now, but have forbidden the residents from using the lobby. The residents can't sit there except after 5 o'clock. In the lobby to Tower 2, there's only one chair in the lobby. You know, that's outrageous. It's working a hardship on the residents. It works a hardship on the people who have family members who live there. I'm not going to go into detail about what all the problems are, but it's severe enough that the residents, these elderly people, have actually taken to picketing and walking up and down on the sidewalk carrying signs. I think they've done it either 2 or 3 times, and they were going to picket again today, but they called it off because Councilman Stagney had a meeting with management and with the corporate officials who came down from Ohio. And I understand that some of these problems are maybe going to be resolved. And I just wanted to thank Councilman Stagney for his help. It's in his district. I know he worked hard to represent the residents and to try to reach a resolution. I want to thank Maria DeFrancis for her concern and help also. And for those people watching who either live in Westminster Tower or who have loved ones there, if you're concerned about what's going on, Mr. Stagney, is it okay that I urge people to contact you or your office? You know, contact Councilman Stagney. He's aware of what the problems are, and he's working hard to resolve it for the benefit of the residents. Thank you.
Very good. Yes, Mr. Stagney has a lot of friends over there, and we know that he takes good care of them. And in fact, he wanted, oh, you good? Okay. The other lights that are on, is it to this issue? Okay. Councilmember Black. Okay. Let me get you on. There you go. You're on.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Brown, do you have anyone that you know, a family that live there?
And yes, Mrs. Black, my mother-in-law lives there. In fact, my wife was going to speak. This would have been the first time ever for her to speak at a council meeting, but I didn't know if she would get here in time. She walked in while I was speaking.
Saw
Her
her-
mother
saw
has
her come
lived there for 12 years.
Well, good for you. And listen, I was at a restaurant the other day, and they said, Jeannie, what's going on? Is there a parade in Kenner somewhere? And they said, we just saw all these people outside by Westminster Towers in walkers with balloons and signs, and we thought maybe, I said, well, maybe, I didn't know anything that was going on there. And so then when I spoke to someone else, they told me what was happening. I want to say congratulations to a courageous group of senior citizens. I applaud them. Whenever things do not go right, you have your rights and you stand firm. And I just am so overwhelmed that they got together, because that's why they took the chairs and everything out, because they was meeting in the lobby and discussing the poor, some things that were going on that, I won't say poor, but the things that they didn't like going on that were poor services. But I just think that it's wonderful, and I hope when I'm in my 80s and my 90s that I can show that much spunk and stand up for your rights. So if any of them are listening from Westminster Towers today, I want to congratulate you very much for getting the attention that you deserve.
You're absolutely right,
And
Mrs.
thank you,
Black.
Mr. Stagny and
And
Mr. Francis.
And yeah,
for
the
intervening.
management essentially was trying to prevent the residents from congregating, from talking, from socializing. It really is sad.
You're never too old to fight.
We have no doubt that when you're in your 80s, you're going to have a lot of spunk in you. Okay, Councilmember DeFrancis.
Thank you, Council President. I'm so glad that Councilman Stagney was able to meet with the administrators. But, Mr. Brown, you're absolutely right. It goes way beyond just removing furniture in the lobby, because the ladies with whom I spoke, their biggest problem wasn't just the removal of the furniture, but the actual intimidation of the residents and trying to keep them from associating with one another, not just in the lobby, but even in their own rooms and on their own floors. And that's just not acceptable. And I'm hoping that the administration is going to go a lot further in addressing these issues than just, because it's a deep issue. It's not just a superficial issue. And go beyond just putting furniture back, but changing their policies. And if Councilman Stagney, and I believe this entire council would support you in any way that we can, to make sure that that issue is addressed, because we need to make sure that those who are most vulnerable, our children and our elderly, that their rights aren't trampled upon, and that's important to me. And I know it's important to everyone on this council. Thank you.
Councilmember Stagney.
Thank you, Madam President. The issue with Westminster, some of us have been dealing with for months, and it came to a head some 3 weeks ago when they started picketing, which is just a terrible visual when you look at men and women between 60 and 90 years old, some of which have been there for 20 years, having to go out on a sidewalk just a couple of feet away from speeding vehicles, waving signs saying seniors deserve respect. They felt like they were verbally abused, rights were taken away from them. It has taken some time to get to the corporate office. I spoke to them a week and a half ago, set up a meeting for today. I thought the meeting was productive. Some of the things that I wanted to see, I felt like management would bend in favor of the residents. I also wanted them to put in a good dispute resolution process. You know, it's one thing to complain, but if your complaints are never acted on, that goes nowhere. And it's driven these citizens to do, these residents to do what they've been doing. And it's only going to get worse if they do not act upon it. Based on the meeting I had today, I felt like they were going to work with the residents and try to work these issues out. I think there are concessions that they have already made to the residents, and I'm going to continue to work with those seniors. They have been by my side through my service to this district. My grandmother has been there up until a year ago, and I feel like many of the men and women who live there are like family to me, and I appreciate the backup that I've gotten from this council and from the administration. When this first came down, we had an issue when Isaac came in. I talked to Mr. Quigley and Mr. Conley back then. I renewed those efforts as early as late as 3 weeks ago to look at minimal standards if we had to put them in place to force that facility to do some things that would be advantageous to the seniors, places to congregate, minimal rights that they have, and so forth. I'm hoping, I don't like government intrusion, I'm hoping we don't have to go that far, but I made them aware of that today, that, you know, I'm going to go as far as I have to go to fight for these seniors' voices to be heard. So I appreciate all the help from everyone and the administration and Mr. and Mrs. Brown. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, and so we have to indulge Councilmember Black. And the closer it gets to June 30th, I'll probably be indulging him more and more. But Councilmember Black, your light's on, it's on. Your mic's on.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. You know, it's a known fact that I don't mind laughing at some of the things I do to myself and the things that I say that are not always right, and I do chuckle out. I get a kick out of it. But my husband and I just came back from a cruise in Europe, and I was talking to the mayor, and I told him, I said, "Oh, Mayor, it was wonderful. We went to London and Norway," and he goes, "What did you like the most?" I said, "Oh, London by far." I said, "We even got to go to Westminster Towers. I mean, Westminster Abbey." He said, "You could take the girl out of Kenner, but you can't take the Kenner out the girl." So I just had to share that story because whenever I think of it, I laugh because how many other Westminsters do you have? So that was the one that was foremost in my mind, and not Westminster Abbey. Thank you. Thank you for indulging me.
And I just wanted to add, you know, I did not know that this was going on, but I feel like I'm confident that they're in good hands with Councilmember Stagney, having met and understanding the issues, and certainly would ask us to join him in any sort of effort that would be needed or appropriate to help the residents as much as possible. My grandmother had lived at Westminster Towers, and so when somebody said that they took the chairs out and they were discouraging them from congregating, remember one of the things that I liked, she didn't necessarily like about it at first, because when you're independent and you go to a facility that's that you're not completely independent, but even though you do for yourself there, one of the things that they encouraged, and the way that it's set up to have like the community cafeteria and the community areas, was to force them out of their rooms to be in amongst each other in a community, and not have them sit in their rooms and be alone. So it's interesting to hear that they were discouraging that behavior when, I know when my grandmother lived there that was one of the things that they encouraged, and I think is healthy for senior citizens to not be alone and isolate themselves, have people to talk to and share common interests. So it seems like it was that there was some issues that maybe were falling on deaf ears, and perhaps they were getting a little more vocal, and so good for them. Let's see where this takes us. I just have a question that was posed to me. Is there any sort of funding from the state, Councilmember Stagney, for Westminster Tower, or is it done through, let me put your mic on so you can answer. There you go.
That is a HUD-regulated facility. They have, is it the Louisiana Housing Corporation, LHC, that has some regulatory over one of the buildings, but HUD over both. So they are subsidized by the federal government.
By federal funds, okay. So there could be some government intervention, not necessarily intrusion, because we certainly, they've done a great job without our help all this time, obviously, and most of how we've supported them is to be supportive of what they're doing as opposed
And they've never, Madam President, they've never, in the 30-some-odd years, they've never had a problem until recently. And I think Mr. Quigley and myself saw some indication of that through the last hurricane where we had some evacuation. And, I've made that known to the management that I met with. So I'm hopeful, and I feel that we had a very good meeting.
Okay,
so
good.
We'll see how it turns out.
Well, it's obvious up here, any support that you need to accomplish whatever it is for the residents, please feel free to
Thank you.
engage us. Okay. Here we are, Mr. Arthur Tadella.
Good evening. My name's Arthur Tadell. I reside at 1609 Hudson Street, Kenner, Louisiana, in District 2. Good evening. Honorable Mayor Mike Yenny, honorable council members, honorable guests and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow veterans. February of this year, I went to the mayor, Mike Yenny, and I asked him if the city would be interested in bringing one of 4 replicas of the Vietnam Wall to the city of Kenner. I told him that there were 4 replicas of the Vietnam Wall in Washington, D.C. The names are the Vietnam Moving Wall, the Traveling Wall, the Healing and Dignity Walls. Each of these walls travels throughout the country. I told him that the Moving Wall was the oldest of 4. It took 2 years to be built and was finally completed in October 1984. I further told him that the Moving Wall was here in November 1993, 20 years ago, at the Garden of Memories 20 years ago. This coming year, the Moving Wall will be 30 years old. So with this permission and blessing, I proceeded to get one replica wall to come to the city of Kenner. Today, I'm happy to say that the Vietnam Moving Wall will be coming to our city in Kenner on Armed Forces Day weekend, May 16th, 17th, and 18th of 2014. This will be a monumental event for the city of Kenner. The moving wall will be on display right here in Veterans Park for all to see. Opening ceremonies will be Friday, May 16th, 2014 at 10 a.m. There are 4 interesting facts concerning the state of Louisiana and the city of Kenner concerning the wall. Out of 1,350 Americans listed as POWs and MIAs, 24 of them are from Louisiana. There are 1,200 Americans that listed as killed in action, but their bodies were never recovered. There are 885 military personnel from Louisiana that are listed on the wall. Out of that 885, 7 of them are from the city of Kenner. There was a total of 248 military personnel received the Congressional Medal of Honor. 158 were given posthumously. There were 16 chaplains listed on the wall. 2 of them received the Congressional Medal of Honor posthumously. The 7 names from Kenner are listed on the left side of the memorial, War Memorial in Veterans Park as you face it. This will be a great event, not just for Kenner, for the metropolitan city as a whole of New Orleans and its surrounding parishes. I might say that they only visit one city a week. 50 weeks, they're out and about in different cities throughout the country. So we are very fortunate, and I mean fortunate, enough that I sold them I'm coming here. I shouldn't have said that. Anyhow, I convinced them to come here because of the World War II Museum. They hadn't been here in 20 years. I showed them pictures of our Veterans Park, and we were able to get that. We asked originally for Memorial Weekend, Veterans Day weekend, Flag Day, and Armed Forces Weekend, and sure enough, we got Armed Forces Day weekend. So this is really something that the city can really be proud of, and it's coming here. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Tadella.
Any questions?
Just a moment, Mr. Tadella. Okay. Wait. You got to put your...
We do have a new exhibit today also that was dedicated today,
Yeah,
and that was a torpedo.
right.
And I mean, it is a real torpedo.
That's correct. Color green.
And yes, and of course, we had the mayor come in today, escorted by other members of the military in a tank. So it was a great thing this morning. I really enjoyed it. So I just want to tell people that besides the plane and all the other things that we have commemorating the military, we now have a non-activated torpedo. But
And one of the reasons why they wanted to come here was that there was an article I told them about that where this was a single destination for veterans to come and live here. If I recall,
We was cited for that some time ago. But the Veterans Park with all the military hardware both encompass World War II moving forward, and our monument was in the community as a whole. So,
Thank
any
you.
other questions?
Just a moment.
Okay.
Councilmember DeFrancis.
Thank you, Council President. Councilwoman Black and I heard the news this morning at the Veterans Memorial Day celebration, and again, I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Jadell, and the administration for making this possible. Again, we deserve to honor our veterans and to remember the sacrifices they made, and I'm very proud that the city is going to be able to be one of the places where we're going to give that type of honor by having the wall here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Larry Daigle.
Larry Daigle, 4128 Tulane Drive, 5th District in Louisiana. Thank y'all. I'd like to thank Maria DeFrances, Kentonapolis, which he's not here, and my good friend Al Morella for showing up at my brother's wake. It was real nice of y'all to take the time out y'all schedule to show up and show y'all respects. And Keith, I hope your wife's doing good. And this is our 5th year. I'd like to get 3 families from each district, if y'all don't mind, if y'all can help out. We get in touch with the churches. It's starting the 1st till the end of the month. We're gonna start collecting donations and all. And Ken also asked me if y'all have any donations, just call his office, 468-7250, or call Karen and I at 466-8478. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Daigle. Al Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 41 years. I had a question at the last meeting for Chief Caraway, but he wasn't here, and no representative was here as well. And I held that question to this meeting. Now I'm looking in the audience, and I'm looking up here. Is there any representatives from the Kenner Police Department in the audience that I can ask this question to? Okay, I'm going to hold the question again, but I want to say this. Although members of this administration are not required to be here, the chief is not required to be here, there should at least be a representative here to answer questions that any of the people of Kenner should have to ask. But I feel this way, this is a disservice. They are public servants, whether they are elected or they're not elected. And this is a disservice to the public that they was elected to serve. Now, moving right along, I want to also say that was a wonderful service this morning, but I want to commend our workers in the Public Works Department that maintain that park. They do a wonderful job, and I'd like to commend them for it. Also, I got a question for Councilwoman DeFrances. Over the last couple of months, Councilwoman DeFrances, the parking lot across the street from the Chateau Country Club looked like they had a lot of cars parked in there. Looked like they had maybe some movie production equipment in there. I'd like you to tell us exactly what was going on, since that's your district. Give us a breakdown on it, and if it was some type of movie production, what economic impact did it have on the city of Kenner? Now, one other thing, in closing, I want to commend the Times-Picayune with their collaboration with Fox 8 News on the wonderful series called Louisiana Purchased. I'm enjoying it. That's my sentiments, exactly the way I feel about campaign contributions. I share your sentiments as well as Fox 8. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, put your light on, and I can give you the floor. Okay, Councilmember DeFrancis.
Thank you. Mr. Morell, I'd be happy to answer it. The movie company came in for one day only. In no way did it disrupt any traffic along Chateau Boulevard or any of the other streets. They did rent space at, they actually used one of our businesses and paid our business to use their facility. They parked in the Chateau Village Shopping Center with permission and, and of course, paying for that right to do so to the owners of that mall. Now, I will tell you that unfortunately, because another area where they planned to film, they weren't able to do it. They came into the city at the last minute, and I was not informed of it till I saw it myself. I did call and make sure that it would never happen in the future again, that the council person, no matter whether it was myself or any other member on this council, would be informed ahead of time, even if it meant just picking up the phone right before it happened. And because that's why, if you remember the proposal I had put together a long time ago before this council, which required a lot of background work with other cities to make sure that that would never happen again in the future, the same kind of errors we had in the past. That legislation was passed by this council. And I was assured, even though it was a last-minute thing, and it didn't disrupt anyone, and it did bring some economic development to our area, even if it was only for one day, that in the future, we would make sure that we had notice, and that it would not happen again. So I can assure you that that has been addressed, and it will not occur in the future. But I made sure that day, as soon as I found out that morning, because I did find out when I went to that bank, that I immediately made contact with the person here in the city of Kenner that was supposedly in charge. And there was a mix-up because, you know, we've had some changes in our code enforcement department. We have a new director. The person that originally was in charge from the code enforcement department has been moved to another department. But we have addressed those issues. It was just a one-time thing. And again, it had no negative impact, and it did have a positive impact economically. So I wanted to assure you of that.
Okay. Fred Francis? Is there, he left? Bishop Adam Allen? Welcome.
Good evening, Madam President. Bishop Adam Allen, 3017 Dawson Street, Kenner, Louisiana, Glory God Baptist Church. I just want to say to the mayor and all of you, thank you for what you have done and how you work with me on a project, and thank you, and the councilman also, Councilman Carroll, thank you so much, all of you, and Ms. Terrell, thank you for those Thanksgiving and whatever you have to offer to the church and the members. Thank all of you so much, and continue to do the good work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. No. I was just seeing, wait, nobody else has signed in. Did you want to speak? Yes, please come forward. Name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Karen Brown, 824 Sessions Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana. And yes, my husband is correct. This is the first time I have ever addressed the council. I just wanted to make another additional couple of comments regarding the issues that are going on at Westminster Tower. I brought my mother down here to live in Kenner from Memphis 12 years ago. And when we were looking for a place for her to live, we found Westminster very open, warm, and welcoming. And I have worked many hours at the towers, both just volunteering with the Friends of Westminster and, of course, helping look after my mother, who is very independent, but, you know, as we all are getting a bit older. I just did also want to say that in recent years, I have come to know and love and care about many of the residents who live there because I am there quite a bit. And I have never seen them as agitated and upset and as many issues that have come up as have come up recently. The change in management has been, I think, dreadful. And I'm glad to see, thank you so much, Councilman Stagney, for holding a meeting with the corporate people, because hopefully now it will get somewhere. There have been letters and things written in the past, but they, as you said, Councilman Brangan, that they have fallen on deaf ears or seem to have. So I just want to thank you all and let you know that it's appreciated, and I know that residents will appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you. You did great your first time. Must have had some coaching. Okay, seeing no further discussion, meeting is adjourned.